Welcome everybody. Welcome to to another how-to paint with iRacing. Now, last video I had major audio problems, and I decided to scrap the audio for this video and just do a voiceover. So please bear with me. Remember, I am not the best at this. I am not a professional YouTuber. I do run out of things to say, as I should, I guess. But we're just gonna, kind of work our way through this and see what happens. So in this video, we are working on the bottom half of the yellow stripe on the left side of the car. Right now I'm using the pen tool to draw in some outlines for that stripe, and just trying to get everything to line up right. Now, these soft curves on the inside of this can be a little bit of a problem. Sometimes you have to try it one or two times, see if you can get things right. As you'll see in this video, I need to redo some things because the initial eyeball on this, I was off a little bit, but we'll get there. We'll see. I'm going to speak when I think I need to, and otherwise just shut up and let the video kind of speak for itself. Now here you see I'm trying to match the angle of the white graphic and get that angle just perfectly equal. Now eyeballing it, that's not the easiest thing to do, but I mean, it's not like we can draw in reference lines using the ruler like we can horizontally and vertically. So eyeballing it, sometimes it's the best you can do. As we go through here, we're just making small adjustments to this outline, dragging the points as needed, and just trying to get these angles right. Now, this wasn't an easy thing to do on this Focus. As this graphic wraps around the back end of the car, on a side view in the sim, it tends to warp just a little bit. So you got to be very careful. As you can see with the upper portion of this yellow graphic, it's not exactly equal to the white graphic. And that's something that I will struggle with and have to go back and redo once or twice. But we'll get it done. Now here I'm going to set up an action. If you've never used actions in Photoshop, I would definitely suggest looking it up, especially if you plan on painting a lot of cars in iRacing. Actions are like pre-recorded movements or macros if you're an old school computer type person. And what it lets you do is say, hey, okay, you're going to start a new macro, name or action, name it, and it allows you to record your movement. So I turn off turn off before saving layers, and then I go and do my save as, save it to the iRacing folder with the proper name, and then I go back and I turn my layers back on, and then stop the action. Now, every time I want to save, and you'll see me do this a lot when I want to go into the sim and take a look at the paint scheme, all I got to do is hit play, and it goes and does all those actions for me. No problem. And then I just refresh. And taking a look at this paint scheme, you'll notice that it seems like we've got it spot on. That angle with the yellow stripe, yes, it looks off, but the angle with the bottom, uh, you know, incline, I guess you could call it, looks about spot on, matching the white graphic. So what I've noticed is that there's too much room between the yellow graphic and the white graphic, and I'm going to go ahead and move it up and backwards a little bit. It's too near the front of the car and it needs to come up. So I took the lasso tool and I just, lassoed part of the graphic, and I'm going to move it up, and then I'm going to make some corrections as we go. Now it's a lot closer to the white graphic as I think it needs to be. I'll go ahead and copy a portion of the bottom here and paste so I can get those angles just right on, and then I'll have to do a little trimming to make sure that the things with the outside here, it looks like it's over, so I'll just go back and trim and fill in as needed. Here I'm doing the fill and just kind of eyeballing with the paintbrush. The bottom of the car, usually it wraps under the bottom of the automobile in iRacing, so it doesn't need to be exactly right on. But for those of us with OCD, we want to get it as close as possible. And once again, I'm grabbing a portion of the graphic. I'm going to move it up as needed. Looks like I'm on the wrong layer. I need to go back and merge these layers. And that way I can grab without having to worry about being on the wrong one. And now I'm just going to use the eraser and get rid of this little sliver here. Looks pretty good. And now I'll go back and I'll grab the rest of this and move it as appropriate. Some of you may have noticed how I've got two windows in Photoshop right now, and I've been asked, how did you do that? Well, it's just like Google Chrome or Firefox or some maybe even Internet Explorer. I don't know. I don't use Internet Explorer, where you can click and drag a tab out and it creates another window. Now this isn't another instance of Photoshop. It's the same Photoshop program, but you can click back and forth between windows. And in this case, I'm leaving a window open so I can always see the car that I'm trying to create. And yeah, that does kind of create some space problems with where I'm painting, but it's negligible. It's not something that gives me a whole lot of worry. As long as I don't click in that window, then I can just continue working in the template and not have any problems. Now here I noticed that, oh no, iRacing, they did it to us again. They put a sliver in the model that, probably really didn't need to be there, but with as exact as these models are, I'm not going to argue. I don't make models, so how would I know what's necessary and what's not? So yeah, that's a problem that we're either going to have to deal with or, find a way to ignore. You see I'm pointing it out there. It's brown right now. Normally when I'm working with a brand new template, and I've never painted this car before, which is why there's all these colors everywhere, I'll go back and I'll create an initial layer where I'll paint all these little parts in a different color, as you can see with the purple and everything, so that when I go into the model, or into the sim, I can see where these parts are and easily identify them. And a lot of times, there will be a part and you can't find it. You don't know where it's at. That's because it's such a tiny little piece. Normally, unless you really looking, you're not going to see it. And that's what happens in a lot of cases, especially in this case. I wasn't able to find a lot of these parts. Here I'm going in and I'm drawing where this outline is going to be. Once again with the pen tool, click and drag to get the little feet, I guess you could call them. And you can do a lot of stuff with drawing with this tool, a lot of freehand things. I know I told you guys that this was going to be all real time for this paint, so you can really see how long one of these normally takes me. Normally, I do speed painting videos and I don't do walkthroughs uh, because I'm not that patient. I guess you could say, I want to make 2 hours seem like 20 minutes. So normally I would go through and I would speed this up, but because I was asked to do this real time, I'm not going to do that this time. And here you can see I did a right click with a pen tool and I created a selection with the shape that I'd drawn, and that makes the little marching lines, and then you're just able to delete, just with the delete key, that's all it takes. Delete the part that you selected out of the layer that you're on. Now we'll hit play on the action, go back into the sim, and voila, there's what we just did. You can see it looks pretty good. So now we got to discuss what we're going to do with this air intake right here. We're going to try to draw in this white portion or figure out something else to do with it. Now, because this part is inset a couple inches into the car, I could draw the shape, the white shape, into the yellow portion that's inside that intake. But then if I did that, I would have to connect all the lines inside the intake, and it just wouldn't look right. Everything looks really jagged. So I believe what we're going to do is we're going to try to fill it with carbon fiber. And, because there's so much carbon fiber on this car, right now the wing's carbon fiber, the rear view mirrors are carbon fiber. There's so much carbon fiber. Making the intake carbon fiber, that's really not going to look too terrible. And so that's what we decided to do. And it looks like, in all my looking around and talking while making this video, I'm not going to have enough time to put the carbon fiber in this video. So we're going to wrap this up right here, and I will see you guys to do the carbon fiber and a couple other details in this next video. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure you stay tuned for episode 3 of this how-to, and in which we will work with the wing and hopefully maybe a little bit of the front of the car. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to comment in the comment section, and I will get back and answer anything you want to know. You can also private message me via iRacing, or find me on Facebook. My name is Dylan Michael Schmidt, Dylan M. Schmidt, and I like working with the community, so drop me a like, give it a subscribe if you want to, and I will see you guys next time.